welcome guys to Frontline Football. I won yesterday in both fantasy and in predictions, which is kind of nice because that Saints hot take really helped. All right, and I'm holding this jersey, and it's the best safety in the league, Buda Baker. I would have shown my Kyler Murray jersey. I don't. Oh, there it is. I was gonna show my Kyler Murray jersey. I just found it, and this guy carried my fantasy. No, not yesterday. This whole week one, because he locked down Derrick Henry. Now Derrick Henry is on my fantasy team too, which was not fun, but at least this man right here carried the squad, and hopefully we get another dub. All right, welcome guys to Frontline Football, and roll the intro. All right, let's get into predictions. With our first matchup, we have the Washington football team versus the New York Giants. I'm gonna hand this one off to Jack.
All right, we're back. Technical difficulty with my mic, but it's good now. You guys can hear me. And Giants, Washington, I'm going to go with the Giants. Don't expect a shootout here. It's probably going to be one of the most boring games you ever watch. It's going to be a lot of Daniel Jones and Taylor Heineke getting hit by the other team's defensive lines. But Washington let me down last week, and I don't trust Taylor Heineke 100% against a good defense. But you never know. It's possible, but I just slightly prefer the Giants here. I'm going to give them the edge. They're going to bounce back on Thursday Night Football. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I got to go with the football team here because as much as I want to go with the Giants because the Giants have won 4 straight against the Washington football team, I just got to say that the defense of the football team is so good. I think that they could probably carry the football team to a win here. Especially with the Giants, who are kind of weak on the defensive side too. So I think that the defense will just overpower the other team, and also with options like Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson still on, and even J.D. McKissick as the backup running back, I think that Heineke will have enough weapons to make him look good in this game. So I have the football team here. Zach?
You could say the same thing about the Giants. The Giants have Kenny Golladay, Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney. They can make Daniel Jones look good, and they have Saquon too, which Saquon will actually have starter reps this week, hopefully. And also their D line is really good. Their defense, their corner, especially James Bradberry, is one of the best. I have Giants here. Giants, I really do like what they're doing. I think that they just faced a really hard opponent. They face again? I forgot.
The Broncos.
Oh yeah, they're really hard. But yeah, I think this week get the dub over the football team. Our next matchup is the San Francisco 49ers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll take this one over. I say the Niners are going to win. The Niners are actually the 3rd best defense in the NFC West. Second is Cardinals, and first is the Rams. And we all know who's last because they're never getting a good defensive help. Okay, the Niners are really good, and they almost let the Lions beat them, but I think there is a chance Philly can win. It's not a big chance, but there's always a chance that Philadelphia could get the upset. And if the Niners keep getting injured, I can see a Philly win. Check.
I'm also going to go with the Niners here. Now, I'm going to give Philly credit. They did beat Atlanta like we expected, but whatever's going on in Atlanta, which I'll get into later, it's pretty insane. They're going to combust pretty soon. It's already begun. And ultimately, the Niners' defense is going to be too much for Jalen Hurts this week. I think Jalen Hurts, being Jalen Hurts, I think he's going to put up some offense on the board, but ultimately, it'll be too much for the Eagles to handle. I'm going to pick the Niners. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, I have the... Huh? Wait, are we doing we're doing Niners? I think that's Josh.
Can we stop the? Okay. So who would start on last time?
Josh, you're up for the Niners and Eagles take.
Okay. Sorry, Frontline football, but like the old saying goes, third time is a charm, and hopefully third time is a charm. We've had mics not working and demon voices, so yeah, this is gonna be a fun video. Okay, so 49ers Eagles. I gotta go with the Niners here, even though that Raheem Mostert is out. Thanks a lot, Raheem Mostert. You only gave me like 2 points in fantasy because you got injured after one play. So I'm still mad about that, but I won my matchup, so it's all good. But for this game, I gotta go with the Niners. I feel like they're just a better team than the Eagles were in Week 1, because the Eagles beat the Falcons, and the Falcons are in disarray, and the Niners all let the Lions come back on them. So while I do think the Eagles could pull off the upset here, I'm gonna go with my gut and say that they're winning. Or Jack?
Already said our takes, so we're going to the next one. Orleans versus Carolina. People don't understand those. It's the Saints versus the Panthers. I'm gonna hand this one off to Josh.
Okay. New Orleans versus Carolina.
Oh, and
Well, before we were so rudely cut off a fourth time, this happened in every single game now. Okay, I said Saints because the Saints seem like they will probably win because of how good Jameis was against Green Bay, and I don't think that Sam Darnold will be able to keep up with Jameis in this game. So, that was my take until my internet unfortunately cut out. So, I am going to hand this one off to Jack for his take.
I'm also going to go with the Saints here. Not only because the Saints kind of just destroyed the Packers, so I have to give them credit now for being elite on both sides of the ball, apparently. But also the Panthers, they won the game, but like they almost gave it back to the Jets in the second half by like constant coaching mistakes. And overall, it was a lot of McCaffrey. So if the Saints can stop McCaffrey, they probably win the game. But I'm going to go with the Saints here. I think I'm a Jets fan, but still, the Saints are a much tougher opponent on both sides of the ball than the Jets are for the Panthers. And I think they're going to run into some real trouble here. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I'm going to go with the Panthers. I think that Sam Darnold will have one of these games that is going to be really good. And I don't think the Saints could stop CMC. Teams have tried and they have failed. So, I think the Panthers, because of CMC being really good this week. Now, if CMC gets injured, I'm very sorry. Yeah, alright. The next teams are the Atlanta Falcons versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jack?
I'm going with the Bucs here. For a number of reasons, but I have a take that'll come out eventually that the Falcons are going to get Spencer Rattler at the #1 pick. I'm kind of standing by that at this point. The Tampa Bay was very good. They have a long week as well because they got to play on Thursday. And the Falcons, they got beat up by the Eagles. So that says enough about what the Falcons are going to be this year. But Bucs are contenders. Falcons are in dangerous territory right now. They could be tanking if things keep going downhill. So I'm going to take the Bucs here. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I'm going to say this before I say it because it's kind of obvious, but the Falcons, what they really needed to do is not select Kyle Pitts and probably select Justin Fields, because then they could have a good QB under center. I know that Matt Ryan is fine, but like he's not going to be good enough for this league anymore. I'm sorry. But yeah, I got Tampa. Tampa is a really good team. They didn't destroy the Cowboys, but the Cowboys kept up with them, which I did say in my take. If the defense doesn't show up, the Cowboys did keep up, and they did keep up, and the defense didn't show up. But this is totally different. Tom Brady could be blind and he could still do really well because somehow Antonio Brown's good now. Mike Evans actually didn't have too many good fantasy points. He kind of sucked. So Mike Evans just needs to do better. Chris Godwin did well. Like everyone was doing well except for the running backs and Mike Evans. So they need to do well and the defense needs to show up. That's really it. Josh?
I gotta go with the Bucks here because they were playing a harder team in Week 1 than the Falcons, and they looked better against that harder team than the Falcons did against the Eagles. Like I've been saying for a long time, the Falcons should have just had a fire sale this offseason. It should have been everything must go. They should have been in rebuilding mode. But they were in a dumb spot where they thought that they could still be contenders, but really they should have been trading away all their big pieces to get ready to tank. Because that's where they're going. They're not going to be winning the division anymore. This isn't that time. And all you did was trade away Julio. That's it. And you got Kyle Pitts because you wanted a good tight end. Well, good tight ends are only for when you're almost done with the rebuild, not for when you're trying to start one. Kyle Pitts is a generational talent whose career will be wasted by Atlanta because they don't know what the heck they're doing down there. So I gotta give it to the Bucks here. Sorry about that little rant.
Alright. Our next matchup is the best matchup of this week. The Minnesota Vikings versus the Arizona Cardinals. I'll start off with my take. It's the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals locked up Derrick Henry. I bet they can lock up Dalvin Cook. And the reason I say that is because Derrick Henry is the best running back in the league. Dalvin Cook's the second best. And I understand that like they got wide receivers like Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, and Justin Jefferson. But Kirk Cousins is basically like Ryan Tannehill. If you lock down Dalvin Cook, you lock down that offense. And you know what our offense is? A lot better than the Bengals. So we're going to destroy them. Hopefully. Heck.
Alright. I'm going to pick the Cardinals. Just because I am like 2 games away from being completely sold on the Cardinals. On not only being playoffs, but they could go deep in the playoffs. And 2, yeah, what Zach said, Derrick Henry got locked up by the Cardinals. Dalvin Cook's probably going to follow in that direction. Not to mention, Minnesota's O-line is not known for being very good right now. In fact, they lost to the Bengals because of some of the O-line issues. And I think, once again, Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt are going to be able to take advantage of that major flaw in Minnesota's game. And Chandler Jones is once again going to be able to manhandle an O-line for 2 weeks in a row. So give me the Cardinals here. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I gotta go with the Arizona Cardinals. They looked really good against a former contender now. We can't call them contenders anymore in the Tennessee Titans. So I gotta give it to the Arizona Cardinals this week. I do believe that Kirk Cousins will get some offense in and Dalvin Cook will too. But I think that Arizona's defense and offense are going to be way too much for the Vikings to handle. So I feel like Minnesota's going to go to 0-2 and wondering what's happening, and the Cardinals are going to go to 2-0 and maybe trying to go for division champion hopes because I can't say if they're going to make a deep playoff run yet because I still got to see a little bit more to really be sold.
Alright, the next matchup is the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Chicago Bears. I'm going to hand this one off to Josh.
I got to go with the Bears here. I think that they have a better defense than the Bengals do, and I think that that defense is really going to decide the game because both their offenses are kind of about the same. You know, maybe a star receiver here, a star quarterback there. That's different. But besides that, I think that the Bears have this game basically under wraps. So the Bengals had a great win last week, but that was in overtime. This is a team that they're facing this week that could actually make the playoffs. So I think that the Bears will be winning this game. Zach, your thoughts?
I got Bengals. I think that Joe Mixon's going to have a really good game. I understand that was Minnesota's defense, and now we're going to watch the Bengals face a better defense. But I think that Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, and Jamar Chase will all have great games. So I think Bengals are going to get this dub. Heck.
This one's tough just because in Bengals fashion, it was very hard for me to get any sort of read on what their plan was and what they were doing. Minnesota was constantly shooting themselves in the foot over and over again in that game. And I don't know if Chicago will make the same mistakes, but at the same time, you never know. It's Matt Nagy. He's very good at doing that kind of stuff. But as of right now, I lean Bears slightly. I think the Bears' pass rush is slightly better than the Vikings' pass rush. And that was my ultimate tiebreaker. I'm going to go Bears here.
Cool. The next matchup is the... Well, let me wait for my thing to load. Rams-Colts. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to say the LA Rams are going to beat the Indianapolis Colts. The Rams have a lot better of a team than the Seahawks did, and the Colts had a hard time dealing with the Seahawks. So, I think the Rams are going to beat the Colts. Josh, what about you?
I gotta go with the not Niners. I gotta go with the Rams here. Sorry, I was thinking about the Niners because their matchup is right next to each other on the NFL app. And I gotta go with the Rams here. I like them better as a team than I do the Colts, and I feel like they're the safer choice, especially with what they did in Sunday Night Football and what I saw from them. I think that they could be... I still gotta see a couple more games, but I do think they could make a deep playoff run if they keep this production going and they stay healthy. So, especially against the Colts, who struggled against the Seahawks, like Zach said, I think the Colts are going to struggle even more against the Rams. So, Jack, what is your take?
I'm going to go Rams here. Pretty simple is I was very impressed with the Rams. They kind of took care of the business with the Bears, and they took advantage of Andy Dalton being the first-year quarterback there. Or not like a rookie, first year in Chicago. Similar thing, Wentz his first year in Indy. He's a project. Offense is questionable. Defense is pretty good. Very similar to the Bears, and I think Stafford's just going to pretty much do the exact same thing and win this game.
All right, our next matchup is I think it's the Cowboys Chargers. Yep, I got it. Cowboys Chargers. Jack, take it away.
All right. This one may be a bit of an upset, but I'm going to take Cowboys here. I was really impressed with the Cowboys on Thursday night, and I'm going to give them a lot of credit. I was nervous about Dak, but he really did hold up really well. I couldn't even tell he had an ankle and a shoulder injury over the last year or two that he's had trouble with those. But now I'm confident that the Cowboys offense is going to be electric here, and I think they're going to do just enough. They're going to get themselves in a shootout with Herbert, and ultimately I think Dak is going to come out on top this time around. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I'll actually have the Cowboys beating these guys. I think the Cowboys offense is, like Jack said, electric, and I think that Dak has a good running to be an MVP this year. So I think the Cowboys will keep this up, and I believe that they'll get a win. Josh?
I gotta go with the Cowboys here also, because I'm sorry to say it, I think that they really showed that they could be a playoff team, especially with how they handled the Bucks. I think that if they didn't miss those kicks, we'd be talking about a whole different team right here. So I think I gotta go with Cowboys winning this game here. I do think it's gonna be close, but Cowboys will win this game.
All right. Our next matchup is the Titans Seahawks. I'm gonna let Josh take this one.
Titans Seahawks. I think that the Titans will get a bounce back win here. So I got Titans for this game. Yes, they looked bad, but Taylor Lewan's gonna recover this game. Henry's gonna go back to his old self because this is a worse defense than what they were playing. And I think that even though that the Titans have the blatant problem of defense with their team, I think that they're going to win this game, but it won't be pretty like it has been the past couple of years. So I have the Titans winning this game. Zach, what are your thoughts?
Titans, because they're playing an easier team, and I think that Russ will not be cooking during this game. And yeah, I just think that the Titans can really do some damage to the Seattle Seahawks. Jack, turn.
I'm gonna pick the Seahawks here. One, home field advantage. I think it's gonna be better. It's gonna be a lot better for the Titans this week. Just naturally, Taylor Lewan's gonna be a little better. The Seattle's pass rush is not there like it was in Arizona with Chandler Jones. But ultimately, I think similar to what Kyler did, I think Russ is gonna be able to cook against the Tennessees. Whatever they call a secondary. It's pretty messy. So I think Russ is gonna cook here. Titans fans, don't threat. You guys are gonna be competitive this week. Baby steps. Maybe you'll even win one next week.
All right. Our next matchup is the Houston Texans versus the Cleveland Browns. Josh, take this one away.
I gotta go with the Cleveland Browns here. As much as I want to say the Texans, and I think, unlike most analysts, I'm gonna say that the Texans will keep it close here. But I do think that the Browns will be winning because Kevin Stefanski is 5-0 following losses as a head coach for the Cleveland Browns. So I think that they'll probably be beating us, but just like last year, I think that the Texans will give the Browns a run for their money. And this will be a really fun game to watch, and I'm really excited to see this game. So I just got to make sure that all the cards line up, and maybe the Texans will get a win. Hopefully, I'm going to be watching it on Sunday, and it should be exciting. But I got Browns for this because I'm...
Did you stop talking?
You froze there, Josh. Who'd you hand it off to?
Jack.
Okay. I will take the Browns here as well. I'm going to give the Texans a lot of credit because they were able to dismantle Trevor and Urban Meyer, even though the Jags are really messy, it seems like, in Urban Meyer world. But I think the Browns, they're going to bounce back. For one, they did a great job against the Chiefs, all things considered. They had a meltdown, but, you know, they were there. They were in the game. The Chiefs didn't run them over by any means. And ultimately, the Browns, they're a team that's going to get back on track eventually. I still view them very highly and as playoff and hopefully Super Bowl contenders if things keep falling right for them. But ultimately, I just think the Browns are going to get it done. They're at home field. The home opener bounce back is incoming. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Browns. The Texans don't really have a shot to win against the Browns. Unless they have a really big breakdown, the Browns got this in the bag. So yeah. Our next teams are the Buffalo Bills versus the Miami Dolphins. Jack, take this one away.
Alright. I have to go with the Bills here. Mainly just because I feel the Bills have their backs against the wall. A little bit. Last year, 11 teams went 0-2. Not a single one made the playoffs. And the Bills are now facing 0-2. Now, I don't think if the Bills lose this game, they won't make the playoffs or anything, but it does stack the odds against them. And ultimately, they're looking for a bounce back. The Steelers really surprised them, and they beat themselves a little bit, to be honest. I saw a play. I didn't get to watch most of it, but I did see a play, a fourth down play, where they tossed it back to a running back who was 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Like, what was that? I think they just had a sloppy day. They'll shake it off. I think this week they're going to go down to Miami, and I think they're going to get a big win. Because while Miami did beat New England also kind of beat themselves. The fumbles in the red zone, when especially 3 minutes left when they had the game in the bag, they just basically gave it away. And I think Buffalo's going to bounce back this week. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Buffalo should have a bounce back win this week, so I am going with the Buffalo Bills as my winner. Because I really think that the Bills are just... I mean, they're going to be upset because they overlooked a team and then they lost to them. So I got to give it to the Buffalo Bills here. And also the Dolphins were making a bunch of mistakes and Tua was trying to hand the game away at like the biggest moments. But Daniel Jones went, no, you can have... Or Mac Jones. Sorry, there are two Joneses in the league now. Mac Jones, his team went, nah, you can have it. So it was just basically a who wants to lose less. So I gotta say, the Bills are winning this game, and it's probably gonna be handily because the last couple times have been by big course. Zach?
Bills. I like what they're doing. They need a bounce back win because that Steelers game was atrocious, and they should have won that, I think, but they didn't. So I got Bills. I think they'll bounce back. I think that they're still in the playoff race. I mean, every single team is, but yeah. All right, our next matchup is the Denver Broncos versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Josh, take this one.
I can't trust the Jacksonville Jaguars anymore. I gotta go with the Denver Broncos. At least some of their parts of the team seem to be working, unlike Jacksonville, who's making Lawrence look like he hasn't even played a snap of football, and they made him get 3 turnovers. I mean, of course, some of those were rookie mistakes, but others were just because his line broke down and he didn't have enough time to make the right decision. If Jacksonville wants to do anything and not waste Trevor Lawrence's career, they need to get stuff around him ASAP. Because all their free agent signings were complete duds in this game. And I don't really get what the heck happened. They had the most cap space and they couldn't sign anybody good to come to Jacksonville. So, what is happening in Jacksonville? Is week 1 and I'm already wondering what's happening. They got blown out by the Texans of all teams. The Texans were placed to go last and they were even the Jaguars were expected to win some games, but now some analysts are thinking they may not even win a game, and from this stat, they've lost 16 games straight, which ties the Cleveland Browns record from 2016 to 2017. So, I gotta give it to the Broncos. It's time to make it 0-17. Zach?
Broncos, they will kill Trevor Lawrence, and he won't be able to create a pass off because there's so many great corners on that team that if you have Broncos defense in your fantasy, you'll probably go off because Trevor Lawrence is going to make a lot of mistakes because there's a lot of great corners on that team. Jack?
Broncos. Absolutely. The Texans did a great job killing the Jaguars and kind of exposing them with their... Because Texans D-line, it's pretty good. But Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, now that's what Trevor's got to go against? That's ridiculous. The O-line is a total mess over there. They don't look like they know what they're doing most times, and they didn't even make it competitive. It was pretty much a blowout, and I think ultimately that's about to happen again. Because I think my conclusion with the Jaguars is they can score points, but anytime they run into any sort of defensive front, they're just going to completely shrivel because their O-line is very, very, very bad. And yeah, it's not looking good for the Jaguars so far. They got to figure it out. But Broncos defensive front takes them over the top here for a win.
Dang, I've heard that before with the Seahawks. So, yeah. Yeah. Next matchup is the Jets Patriots. Yes, let's go. I got it without looking. So, Jets Patriots. Jack, take it over.
I'm going with New England. I understand this is the second week in a row I'm betting against the Jets, but it's fine. They'll pick it up later in the year. I still stand by that. They'll pick up a couple games down the stretch to at least have a better season than last year. But got to remember, the Jets' O-line, it struggled against the Panthers. On top of that, they lost their best player and their franchise left tackle in Mekhi Becton for 4 to 6 weeks, which, not helping. And you know Belichick, how he rolls with these rookie quarterbacks. Now, I don't think it will be as bad as some of the past games I've seen of New England versus New York, just because they also have a rookie. The Jets' coaching is upgraded. The D-line is slightly upgraded. But ultimately, Bill Belichick's going to have a plan. He's going to be able to ring Zach Wilson's bell just enough to get over the top. I don't know if the Jets have a chance. I think they have a chance to make it competitive, but it's a lot to ask of Zach Wilson to pick apart the New England defense, especially at their full strength and that elite secondary. It's a lot to ask, but I have to pick the Pats here. They just feel like the better team right now. I think Mac Jones' mistakes could potentially keep the Jets in the game, but ultimately I think the Pats will still win it. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I gotta go with the New England Patriots here because I think that Mac Jones, with his pieces, will look a bit more polished than Zach Wilson. Now, I do believe that this game will be close, but I think that those free agency signings that New England had in the offseason will really put them over the edge in this game. And I'm going to say it, Patriots will win here. It won't be pretty, but it will be a win. Zach?
The Patriots. This is an obvious choice. They have J.C. Jackson. Let me think. They have J.C. Jackson. Stephon Gilmore's back. They have the best linebacker core other than the Buccaneers. Like, this team is really good on defensively. Now, offensively, they're going to have a hard time. Mac Jones, I understand he looked decent in this Panthers game, but he was trying to throw the game also. So, good luck, Patriots. It's not like Tom Brady. But, yeah. It's going to take a little bit of time for Mac Jones to get into the system. It's going to take... Now, people can say, well, he already gets the system. He's looking at film. He's looking at the playbook. He was teaching Cam Newton the playbook, which makes no sense. But I don't care. You can look at so much game film on someone. You could still lose to them. Like, it's happening. Like, they're looking at your game film. You're looking at their game film. Doesn't matter if you look at it for longer. It's just a little bit better on like what they could do. So. Yeah. So yeah, Patriots. The next teams are the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I'll be taking this one. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, they really shocked me when I saw that they beat the Bills. And the Steelers are going to look good until like week 11. And then they're going to fall off big time. They might actually do it earlier, but like, I believe that the Steelers could keep this up. So, all right, Jack, your turn.
Oh my goodness, these teams, the two biggest head scratcher of the weeks go head to head this week. I'll pick the Raiders. I picked them last year in week 2. Ultimately, I don't know what either of these teams are going to be. The Steelers just took care of business against the Bills, and the Raiders. I don't get it. They're different. They're just different. I think the Steelers' defensive front is going to make it close, but I don't know. The Raiders are going to do something I don't expect, and I'm not going to let them get one over on me again. I'm going to pick them here, and they're going to get the W. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I got to go with the Steelers here because they beat a harder team than the Raiders beat. Now, I'm not saying that the Ravens are not a hard team, but still, they were just giving the game back and forth until one of them finally won it in overtime. So I think the Steelers will probably win here because their win seemed a bit more, I guess, more obvious than the Raiders, who multiple times basically butt fumbled the game away. But then the Ravens did worse, so then they got another chance. So I'm just going to say it. Steelers win here.
All right, with our next matchup, we have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. I'm gonna hand this one off to Josh.
Okay, Chiefs Ravens. I gotta go with the Chiefs. It's September Chiefs. Mahomes is 11-0 in September with 0 interceptions and 35 passing touchdhdowns. I'm not going against September Chiefs, especially against the Ravens, who haven't beat the Chiefs in the regular season or postseason or any season for that matter when Mahomes and Jackson are under center. And I can't even trust them after that overtime game that they went into with the Buccaneers, with the Raiders. So, Chiefs by a mile. I think that the Chiefs are just better, so give me the Chiefs here. Jack, your thoughts?
Chiefs. I wish the Ravens the best of luck. This is not going to end well. There's so much going against them between the massive injury bug that just bit the entire Ravens, that took out all their running backs and a lot of their secondary, to losing to the Raiders in overtime and whatever the heck that game was, to Mahomes being a god in September, to the Chiefs having the Ravens' number ever since Lamar got there. There's just so much going against the Ravens. I don't see room for an upset here. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Chiefs. I can't trust the Ravens. I said them last year. They had a cool matchup. It's always fun to watch. It's just you know the outcome every single time. It's going to be Chiefs. Now, can the Ravens win? Probably. If Lamar actually has a good game against Mahomes and the Chiefs, but it's probably not going to happen. So, yeah. All right, our next matchup is... Oh, actually, our final matchup of the video is Packers-Lions. I'm going to hand this one off to Jack.
Packers. The Saints have made a crucial mistake. They've made Aaron Rodgers angry. And we know what happens when Aaron Rodgers gets angry. He beats up on some random team that wasn't going to make the playoffs. And that's exactly what's going to happen this week. But unfortunately, all of our eyes are subjected to watch it in primetime on Monday night, which is not cool, scheduling people. Why do we have to watch this? Why can't the noon people watch this? And we have much better matchups. But that's besides the point. Scheduling, Packers are going to beat these guys. They're going to bounce back, and everyone's going to ride back on the Packers bandwagon, and people are going to be converted back. It was a fluke game, maybe. I don't know how they're going to hold up against some of the better teams. But the Lions, good job on almost beating the Niners in that crazy comeback, but not going to be enough here. I'm going with the Packers. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Okay, I'm going with the Packers too because angry Aaron Rodgers for one, and for two, Aaron Rodgers is 8-0 when he's at home on Monday Night Football. So I'm not going against a undefeated record on Monday Night Football. So Aaron Rodgers is going to have a comeback game because he's angry Aaron Rodgers. He's angry. Especially when he would have been better off throwing the ball into the dirt and would have got a better passer rating than he did in his actual game. So give me the Packers winning this one here. Zach?
I have the Packers. I mean, the Lions are going to be horrible this year. They're probably going to have a high pick. At least Penei Sewell is looking, yeah, decent. I mean, they were close on beating the Niners. I could see a Lions win if Aaron Rodgers plays horrible, but this is not Sean Payton's game plan. This is Dan Campbell, okay? Now, will there probably be an injury during this game? Of course, because Lions and Packers are probably going to have someone injured. If it's Aaron Rodgers, their whole season's dead. And it's going to be something in the leg area. It's happened with Raheem Mostert. It's going to happen with someone else, I think. So, yeah. Also, get ready for injury report. That's coming up soon, too. So yeah. That does it for our video today. If you liked it, what should they do, Josh?
If you like it, don't forget to hit that like button, punch that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. But if you gotta do one thing, hit that subscribe button, or hit that follow button if you're watching this from a podcast, because it really helps out our channel. And thank you for watching. This has been a fun year, and we're gonna keep on making it a fun year, because it's only week 2 of a new season where we have more football. Yay! Woo! Okay, so thank you all for watching. I have been Josh from Frontline Football, and Jack, hit the plugs.
As always, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at FrontlineFB, or the links are right there somewhere. Yep, there we go. And we'll see you guys back here next week for more great predictions. We'll see who's champion next week. See you guys then.
See ya.